Welcome to the MEAC More debut with your boy Chris Stevens here on the HBCU Sports YouTube channel. Greatly appreciate y'all for checking us out. If you guys are unfamiliar, we announced last week that there will be several shows that are being launched and distributed on the HBCU Sports platform. I will be covering the Eastern Athletic Conference, and the and more part will include our friends at Hampton and North Carolina A&T, who of course are in the Coastal Athletic Association, and Tennessee State, who are in the Big East, and I mean not the Big East, the Big East. Wow, Big South OVC is what I'm trying to say. So thank y'all for tuning in. Greatly appreciate you. All the contact information will be in the description below on this channel. For now, we invite you to follow us on all manners of social media. We are on X, which is the Musty app. We're on Threads. We're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, you name it. Just search for HBCU Sports, and you can check us out there. Packed show for y'all to get us started, and we're going to start with something that we consider breaking news, and Kendrick Marshall asked me to do this. So those of you who are waiting on the SWAC page, you guys will get a further deep dive into that. But earlier today, Liv for Hoops, who is a friend of our program and a great insider for Black college sports, Black college basketball, announced that Charlie Ward, yes, that Charlie Ward, the one who beat Nebraska in the Orange Bowl, the one who helped the Knicks make the NBA Finals from the 8th seed in 99 and got flipped by PJ Brown in the 97 playoffs. You got to be of a certain age to remember those old Nick Heat games. But yeah, Charlie Ward is now will soon be named the new head men's basketball coach of Florida A&M. I'm not going to delve too deep into it because that is something better suited for Ken and Kendrick. By the way, their show, the SWAC page, debuts on Monday, and more than less than, by Jared Hoffman, who's going to be covering D2 and NAIA stuff. He'll debut next week as well. So I'm the one that's kicking this all off. But yes, Charlie Ward is going to get a 5-year contract and a chance to right the ship for a Florida A&M men's basketball program that has not done very well. I mean, they have not had a winning season since the year that last year they made the NCAA tournament when they won the MEAC in 2007. And they've had coach after coach after coach try to come in and get things right. And Patrick Crary, to his credit, said, I'm not going to stick around for this nonsense. And it's funny because we talked about this a lot on this channel, how people really just had it out for then athletic director Tiffany Dawn Sykes, and to the point where they were punishing the people that she hired or the people that had the best interest of the athletes at heart and athletes by just doing stupid stuff. Like, you give a guy a 1-year contract and say, you got to prove to us that you're a good coach, and he ends up leading you to your most regular season wins in 17 years. He's not gonna put up with that. And it just turned out that the Grambling situation came up when Adante Jackson left to go to Alabama A&M. So now Florida A&M is going to turn to Charlie Ward. Shouts out to Kim Rashad, the boss man, checking in. I think the folks at FAMU have learned their lesson. They better. Because, boy, let me tell you, we got enough jokes on them. But, yeah, this is Charlie Ward. His resume as an athlete is undeniable. Once again, won the Heisman Trophy in 93, helped Florida State beat Nebraska in the memorable Orange Bowl in 94. That's one of the first college football games I remember watching from start to finish as a young kid. And, of course, he played 11 seasons with the Knicks, Spurs, and Rockets in the NBA. And he most recently coached the Florida State high school boys basketball team. So he doesn't have college coaching experience, but he still has basketball coaching experience. So it's not like this is a blind hire by any stretch of the imagination by FAMU. So this might be one that they actually got right, but it didn't have to happen this way. You could have given Patrick Crary a 3-year deal as originally agreed upon and said, okay, we'll give you 3 years to figure this out. And if you don't, then we'll move on to the next one. So, but someone said he's not a name brand coach. Well, that name brand coach won 14 games for y'all last year. More than you've had since Bush was about to leave the office and Obama was coming in. So I don't know what else y'all want from Patrick Crary, but he did what he had to do, and now he's got a chance to remake that Grambling team in his image. Now, what this means for Florida A&M with Charlie Ward, they're going to get a guy who has played at the highest level of every single sport that he has participated in. Well, not the NFL. He said if he didn't feel like he was a first round draft pick in the NFL, he wasn't going to the NFL. Sure enough, the New York Knicks drafted him in the first round. He said, "Okay, I can do this basketball thing," because of course he's still Florida A&M's all-time leader. Florida State's all-time leader in steals, 31 years later. So he's a consummate point guard. He knows what. Point guards always make good coaches anyway because they're coaches on the floor. Like if you know basketball, you know that point guards, they are responsible for getting guys in the right positions, setting up defenses, setting up offenses, being an extension of the coach on the floor. So I feel like Charlie Ward is a guy that can do this job because he's got the cachet, he's got the experience, and hopefully he'll have the backing. He's probably going to get the backing because he's Charlie Ward. And that sucks because Patrick Crary probably deserved the backing that Charlie Ward is going to get. But this is I dare say it's a decent hire for Florida A&M. I'm not going to knock them this time. They did a really good job in getting a guy who has played at the highest level, who has, has played at the Division I FBS level, coached high school basketball, so he knows how to get to young kids. And this is an important hire. This is one that they need to nail. And I feel like time will tell, but probably they do nail it with Charlie Ward because Charlie Ward is a guy who has the experience. Hopefully he just has the backing and the resources to make it happen. So that's my take on Charlie Ward being hired. You can get more of this from the SWAC Page podcast when Ken Rashad and Kendrick Marshall debut on Monday. So I highly recommend you guys tune in that. But this edition of the MEAC More is going to be focused on a point guard. We just talked about a point guard. We were going to talk about a point guard who should be getting ready to start her professional basketball career. But instead, she got robbed. She got hosed. She got hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok. She didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on the Diamond. That's right. Talking about Diamond Johnson. The WNBA draft was Monday. There were 38 picks. There was originally scheduled to be 39, but the Las Vegas Aces got docked their first round pick for the De'Erica Hamby fiasco. If you're not familiar with that, I want you to hit the Googles. And Diamond Johnson was long thought to be one of the top 40 prospects in the draft. And unfortunately, Diamond did not hear her name called on Monday night. And there is the one bright spot is that Zay Green, who was at Arkansas Pine Bluff before she went to Alabama, also she did get drafted. So by extension, we had an HBCU athlete drafted Monday night, but Diamond Johnson was the one who got the shaft in the worst possible way. So we're going to run down Diamond's shout out to my guy, Jared Hoffman. Once again, More Than Less Than with Jared Hoffman is going to debut next week. So please check out his podcast as well. Justice for Diamond. Damn right. Because she got robbed. So I'm going to run down Diamond's resume for you real quick. Starting with the MEAC stuff because that's the most recent. What we have here is a top-level talent. The 2025 Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference Player of the Year. First team All-MEAC 24 and 25. And it's important to note that in 2023-24, she missed the first 10 games because of an eligibility concern. And it wasn't her fault. It was the transfer thing messed up. And shouts out to Ken for making me get Jared's title right. I apologize, Jared. So it's Better Than Less Than with Jared Hoffman next week. D2 NAIA stuff. Tune in. You're going to love it. So yes, remind you, Diamond missed the first 10 games of 23-24 because the transfer portal stuff was like in flux with all athletes. A lot of athletes missed a lot of the first half of the basketball season. And she still made first team. She still made the MEAC all-defensive team. She still won offense. She still won the tournament MVP twice. Those. We're talking about a top-flight talent. And if you don't believe in the MEAC stuff, we have more receipts. Let's tap into these receipts. If you can't see it, I'll read it for you. 2,123 points, 650 rebounds, 410 assists, 334 steals, 98 career games in double figures, 36 career 20-point games, 5 career double-doubles, 4 career 30-burgers. At Norfolk State, her career averages are 19 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and almost 4 steals a game. She's the box to roll player of the year for 2024-25. She was on the Dawn Staley Award watch list. She was the 2025 College All-Star Game MVP. 15-time MEAC Player of the Week. 2-time Becky Hammond Mid-Major Player of the Year semifinalist. And then, of course, we'll get to the Power 4 stuff. 2022 MEAC 6th Woman of the Year. ACC 6th Player of the Year. I'm sorry. 2022 All Honorable Mention ACC. Helped NC State make the Elite Eight. 2023 she was 2nd team All ACC. And 2021 she was the Rookie of the Year at Rutgers and 1st team All Big Ten freshman. 2nd team All Big Ten period. So, and there's more. Yes, there's more. What you are looking at is the ESPN's top 10 class of 2020. Look at the names you see on this list. Paige Beckers, who just went number 1 overall in the same draft. Angel Reese, who was 2nd in WNBA Rookie of the Year voting in 2024. Cameron Brink, who would have had a good chance of Rookie of the Year had she not tore her ACL last year. Caitlin Clark, the Rookie of the Year in the WNBA. Camila Cardoso has the chance to be one of the best centers the WNBA has ever had. And who is just beneath those 5? Diamond Johnson. Yes, the same Diamond Johnson who had to sit and watch a girl from UConn who averaged 4 points a game. 4 points a game. Get drafted over her. How much sense does that make? I'll talk more about this in a minute. Shout out to Aya to watch for tuning in. It might work out for her. She might be able to make overseas, make more money in the WNBA. Yeah, that's true. But I'll talk about, the WNBA stuff in a minute. But I just want to express my righteous outrage. And yes, Jared brings this up. Haley Van Lith was also drafted. So was Sydney Parrish. And Diamond was ahead of those two. I mean, we just calling a spade on this show, man. That's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do on the MEAC More. And if you don't believe me, check out some of her satisfied teammates, like 2024 MEAC Player of the Year and now West Virginia Mountaineer Kiara Mimi Wheeler. If you can't read the tweet, I'll read it for you. Diamond not getting drafted is straight politics. 2 100 emojis. When are y'all going to respect HBCUs? She performed on every level. Check the stats. Her story ain't done, but she deserved to see her name on that screen tonight. And if you don't believe one of Diamond's teammates, maybe you'll believe a WNBA All-Star and veteran coach, Chastity Melvin. Diamond Johnson is the most notable that didn't get drafted to me, and let's be real, it's because of her size and the last college she's played for. She's right there with Georgia Amori of Kentucky. Shifty, fearless, can create her own shot and seize the floor. Now that we got the receipts, let's talk about why we have the reason for these receipts. It's important to note, in fairness, and I don't give the WNBA a lot of fairness from a administrative standpoint because Kathy Engelbert is the worst commissioner in professional sports. Yes, she's worse than Gary Bettman. Yes, she's worse than Adam Silver. Yes, she's worse than Roger Goodell. Is she worse than Rob Manfred? It's a toss-up. But yeah, Kathy Engelbert is not very good at her job. The WNBA should be making a lot more money and being a lot more seen. It's basically the players have been getting this out the muscle, out the mud. Kathy ain't done a damn thing. But to be fair, there are 13 WNBA teams now with the addition of the Golden State Valkyries. And there are 12 players to a roster. So 13 times 12 is 156. So there are 156 spots. There's not that, there's thousands of women's college basketball players. So yeah, it's a select field. But if you're telling me that Diamond Johnson wasn't better than a girl from UConn that averaged 4 points a game and only got drafted because her teammates got drafted, that dog won't hunt. I can't buy it. And it's unfortunate because HBCU girls have gotten the shaft with the WNBA draft and WNBA training camps forever. Like Angel Jackson from Jackson State last year. You're telling me, and I'm saying this as a Las Vegas Aces fan, if you tell me that Kia Stokes is better than Angel Jackson, then I want you drug tested. Because I've had to watch Kia Stokes for the last 3 years, and it has not been a pleasant experience. Which reminds me, her dad got on my case on Twitter. I have to share that story with y'all another time. That's another time for another podcast. But if you're telling me that Kia Stokes was better, Kia Stokes would have been better for that Aces team than Angel Jackson, I don't buy it. Not for a second. Not for a single second. And it's disappointing. It's frustrating because of player, and because we're knocking players for their height. The girl that got drafted that Chaz Melvin mentioned, Georgia Moore. Georgia Moore is 5'6", allegedly. And Diamond is listed at 5'5". I mean, we know she's not 5. So what? She can play. It's clear that she can play. And if you're gonna dock a player for her height, if you're gonna dock a player for what school she goes to, then you need to dock a few of these Power 4 schools that get draftees and their teams don't even make it out of the second round of their own conference tournaments. Let's be fair about this. Give him a shot. And hopefully Diamond gets a chance to circle back at some point. Maybe she'll still get a camp invite this year, but I don't think that she should have had to wait for the WNBA to add 2 more teams like they're going to do with Toronto and Portland next year for her to get a shot in the WNBA. I mean, she deserves a shot right now. There aren't 156 basketball players in that league better than Diamond Johnson. Simply not the case. I won't buy that because I've seen her play several times, as a matter of fact, and came away impressed every single time. So I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, tap in. I mean, if you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on YouTube, feel free to share your comments. I see that Jared and Ken are tuned in. Shout out to Ida Watcher. And Michelle Smith asks, who can we reach WNBA general managers? I mean, you could probably send an email or something to their social media folks on behalf of Diamond saying, give Diamond a chance because she definitely deserves one. But I feel like with respect to professional sports, and I'm talking as a guy who's covered high school and college athletics for 23 years. I may not look that old. I mean, I still have the baby face going on, except for this. But yes, I've been covering college and high school basketball since 2002. And I've had a chance to see how players work for draft days when it comes to football and basketball and all of that. It's still a network of it's not always what you know, it's who you know. And a lot of GMs in professional sports, a lot of them, they look out for players who seem to have the name brand recognition of their colleges. I mean, they just mentioned that UConn had the most overall #1 draft picks of anybody. And granted, those are some very good picks. I mean, you got Stewie. You got Paige Beckers, who's probably real quick hot take. If Paige Beckers never gets hurt, this Caitlin Clark Stan thing never happens. Just want to get that off right quick. But yes. UConn, they bragged about UConn having the most top picks. Tennessee. Who else can I think of? South Carolina. I'm not going to dock South Carolina because Dawn Staley has done a phenomenal job. Dawn Staley built that program from the ground up. So I have all the admiration in the world for Dawn Staley. So Dawn Staley is exempt from this argument, quite frankly. But a lot of these other schools, a lot of these players get drafted by name only. And I mentioned Kia Stokes. I mean, Kia Stokes went to UConn. People are going to look at this podcast and say, you hate Kia Stokes so bad. I don't think she's a bad human being. I just think she's not a really good basketball player for what the Aces need to help A'ja Wilson. That's it. That's all. That's it. Her dad didn't like that I said it, but oh well, he'll deal. But yeah, HBCUs always get shafted when it comes to professional sports because a lot of people see the B in HBCU and just say, yeah, who do they play? Who do they develop? Well, we can tell you right now that Norfolk State beat 2 SEC teams last year and gave a third one fits. This is with Diamond Johnson and Mimi Wheeler on the roster. Matter of fact, one of the schools that Norfolk State beat, they went and got Norfolk State's coach. I can guarantee you their AD Watch them lose to you. I can guarantee you, they watched their AD. Their AD watched their Auburn's AD watched their team lose to Norfolk State and said, that Vickers guy, he's really good. Let me write his name down for future reference. And sure enough, Larry Vickers is now the women's basketball coach at Auburn. Well deserved, by the way. So I just don't buy the notion that black colleges are inferior athletically or anywhere else. That's just something that white supremacy has embedded in a lot of people's minds. But black people, none of this life moves without us. Nothing in life moves without us. And that includes athletics. And I'm annoyed that Diamond got robbed. I really am. It doesn't make any sense for her to just continue, to suffer because she made the bold gamble. Granted, we knew it was a gamble when she was leaving Rutgers and North Carolina State for Norfolk State, but wasn't she the best player in the MEAC each of the last 2 years, along with her teammate, Mimi Wheeler? And didn't they beat their share of Power Fours and mid-majors? Didn't they give Maryland the drama that they needed to overtake Alabama in that double overtime game in the second round? Come on, man. Let's be for real about this. And this is where we come in at HBCU Sports, at other outlets like Game Day and other places like that. We speak up for HBCUs because we know that the general media ain't going to do it. It's just not in their plans. And this is where we come in. So we appreciate y'all once again for always tuning in with us. No, this isn't the end of the show. I'm just, talking, giving you guys the game here. But yeah, Diamond Johnson got robbed, and that's the black ass bottom line. And I will bang the drum for her until she gets her fair shot at a WNBA roster spot. So now that we've talked about that, let's talk about some football, because yes, it is always football season year round, and spring football is either wrapping up or just has wrapped up for, a lot of HBCUs. And of course, since this is the MEAC and More, I have 3 clips from MEAC coaches that I want to play for you guys, and I will discuss after every clip. I want to first get our thoughts from Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference defending champion South Carolina State and the man with the plan. This dude, if college coaching doesn't work out for him, he could absolutely be a mega church pastor or a motivational speaker. They're pretty much the same thing, aren't they? But anyway, here are some thoughts from South Carolina State football coach Chennis Berry.
Growing pains, but we'll be fine. All right. But again, this time last year, as we went through the process and evaluated, I think we're a little bit better off than we were at this time last year. So that's encouraging. I think we got a lot of work to do to get to where we want to be. We're a long way away from good, but that's okay. It's a process. And we always talk about in this program, fall in love with the process of becoming great and trying to go 1-0 each and every day.
So that's what Coach Berry had to say after the South Carolina State spring game. So the Bulldogs, they had a great year last year. Make no mistake about it, right up until Jackson State. They ran into Jackson State in the Celebration Bowl. But let's be clear about this. South Carolina State has a lot to replace. Caden Hyde transferred out. Eric Phoenix and Aaron Smith are in the draft process. Hopefully they get picked up by any of these 3 professional leagues, the NFL, CFL, or the UFL. A lot of other key components graduated. So there's a lot that needs to be done in South Carolina State, but if there's someone that I believe can repeat and get this team and keep this team as relevant as they have always been, because South Carolina State has the most MEAC championships in football of any other team. Yes, this includes Hampton. Yes, this includes Howard. Yes, this includes Norfolk State. Yes, this includes Delaware State, even though we got 6 of them. People don't realize that Delaware State got 6 MEAC championships, but we got 6. But yeah, South Carolina State has 19 of them things. So if they're the Pittsburgh Steelers of the MEAC. They just win. They have a great tradition. They've only had 4 head coaches in the last 50 years. And Chennis Berry is the guy that can keep that team relevant, keep that team competitive, and keep that team in the hunt for a Celebration Bowl. So it'll be interesting to see where they end up. Also, we got some thoughts from Trey Oliver on spring practice and who his head coach is. His head coach. He is the head coach. Who his quarterback is going to be leading into fall practice.
The leader, and he's going to get the guys are going to rally behind him. So it's good to have a strong. He's been consistent, and Walker's Walker, and he has great leadership qualities and things of that nature. So He's a leader, and he's going to get the guys are going to rally behind him. So it's good to have a strong number 2 and number 3 quarterbacks as well.
So Trey Oliver pretty much giving us the inevitable that Walker Harris, the senior from Wake Forest, North Carolina, is going to be the starting quarterback. He had a really good year last year for the most part. Shouts out to Stutter and Noop. Oh boy, here we go with who people daddy is again. I blame Ken and Kendrick for this conversation. Every time we start talking about people's paternal lineage and all of that, and we don't need to talk about it. And yes, I have the watcher. I do want to talk about this. Because we ran a story yesterday about this. Shout out to CBS 17 in Durham, North Carolina, and Todd Gibson, who originally reported the story. A great quarterback who got his future taken away from him has decided to switch paths, if you will. And that is, of course, Mr. Davius Richard. He is the new quarterback coach at North Carolina Central. And to me, it's probably one of the biggest losses for us as fans. Like, he says he's trusting God. And I'm not one of those people who's going to take away from people's faith and let them in people's past and what they want to do. But I will always say, the coaches who ran that goofy bootleg in that HBCU bowl game should be fined and prosecuted to the full extent of the law. Because we never got a chance to see what Davius Richard could do on a professional football stage. And that to me is a crime. That is a sin and a shame. Because I watched this young man absolutely. Because Delaware State, under Rod Milstead anyway, was competitive. They led that game, I think, going into the fourth quarter by a touchdown. This was Del State homecoming, 2020. Was it 2023? No, it was 2022. It was 2022. So I don't think we ever found out who ran that play. I had to watch it probably because he's hiding, and he should hide because he cost the young man his professional career. But yes, Del State homecoming 2022. Davius Richard and Central went in that game, went to the fourth quarter down the touchdown. I'm like, all Del State has to do is just keep him from going crazy for 15 minutes. And guess what Davius Richard did? Went crazy for 15 minutes. They ended up winning about 3 touchdowns. It was like, okay, we see why this young man is probably going to get drafted. And unfortunately, because of that foolish injury in the HBCU Bowl, it didn't happen. His ankle never healed. He signed a contract with the Houston Roughnecks of the United Football League, but they released him in February. So he said he had to medically retire, which means he just physically cannot play. And that's painful. I mean, this young man is like 23, 24 years old. Just have your dreams taken away from you like that is devastating. But you never know. He could be the next great HBCU head football coach. So let's look at it like that. I mean, I would rather have seen him beat out somebody on the Cleveland Browns for the top quarterback job. Or maybe the New York Giants could have drafted him instead of, waffling on whether they're going to draft Shedeur Sanders or not. I would have liked to see Davius Richard in the NFL. But if he turns out to be another great HBCU football coach, then it isn't a total loss. And I hope that, he's happy. I know Trey Oliver's happy to have him back. I know everybody on campus is happy to have him back. But it just feels like the crime of the century that we did not get to see Davius Richard on a professional football field. Because, he was just, I've been around the MEAC a very long time. I've seen some great quarterbacks. I've seen Bradshaw, the Big Show Little John from Morgan State. My old school Morgan State Bears remember the Big Show. That dude was like 6'4", 270 and could run the option like nobody's business. Like, who's going to get in front of him? He had the speed, but who's going to get in front of him anyway? I've seen Little John. I've seen Vashawn Witten at Delaware State, one of the best pure passers I've ever seen. The MEAC has had some great quarterbacks. And I feel like Davius Richard is probably among the elite ones in the last 25 years. And for him to not have a chance at the pro level is a damn shame. And I hate it. But again, if he turns out to be another Trey Oliver, if he turns out to be another Chennis Berry, if he turns out to be another Teddy Keaton, or, one of those guys like that. So I would hope that he's happy where he is. And if he turns out to be a great quarterbacks coach, that becomes a great offensive coordinator, that becomes a great head coach, then fine. But still, I think WSSU Ram Nation, I'm talking about MEAC quarterbacks. And I think Connell Maynard was before my time, as was Kermit Blunt. I'm just talking about the last 25 years or whatever. But either way, it's unfortunate that this happened for him. But if Davius is choosing to look at it as a positive light, then I will too. So good for Central, good for him, and hopefully it works out. And we got one more interesting interview from MEAC spring practice. Of course, this is from the new head coach at my alma mater. You knew we wasn't going to get through this program without some Delaware State. Deshaun Jackson, who talked to Kevin Tresolini of the Wilmington News Journal. So let's see what Coach Jackson had to say about the spring game.
Individually as a team, we have some individual performances that obviously stood out. But I think as a team, if we can get them individual standouts to come together more on a team level, I think, we'll be moving in the right direction. I think it's a lot of guys that we was able to identify through this process to, see the pedigree they have in them, obviously is what we need to accomplish what we want to accomplish. So just think getting more guys to kind of, embrace that and just kind of follow along with the other guys who's emerged as leaders and who stepped up. And I think today, obviously, it was pretty obvious to see kind of who some of those guys were. So I think, we just kind of let the standard be the standard, and guys just have to follow. I mean, the workload is going to be the workload regardless. You know what I'm saying? I just think guys got to just embrace that and just keep fighting through it.
So that was kind of a non-committal presser from Coach Jackson. I didn't get to attend the Delaware State football spring game for extraneous purposes and reasons. I should be ready to go for football season as a whole, but I did find it interesting that no players were made available for any of these pressers, to be honest with you. And as much as we want to hear from the head coaches, I still think it is the responsibility of the coaches and the SIDs to at least have your returners that are returners. And with the portal, that's a 50-50 proposition these days. But not being able to ask the players how they felt about the competition, how they felt about, their new coaches or anything like that, it feels like a missed opportunity. And I'm not blaming the media for that. I'm not blaming the media for that at all. I'm saying that, a lot of these coaches and SIDs, we want to hear from the kids too. I mean, and yes, WSSU Ram Nation is right. It's a coaches show now in the MEAC. I mean, I've sat in on the MEAC coaches conference each of the last 2 seasons, and it's clear who the personalities are in the conference. Before we had Buddy Pugh, now we have Chennis Berry and Trey Oliver, who's always going to be a straight shooter. He's going to give it to you real raw and unfiltered. And Larry Scott is very professional in his answers as well. Lee Hall didn't do a bad job either. I mean, he was obviously up against a lot, but he came in with a positive attitude every week. And it's going to be interesting to see. I see WSSU Ram Nation. I gave him props. Come on, man. Don't do that. Don't do that. But it'll be interesting to see how the coaches conferences look this year with Mike Vick and Deshaun Jackson on the call. So it'll be, we already know what we're going to get from Trey. We already know what we're going to get from Coach Scott. We know what we're going to get from Coach Berry and Damon Wilson, who also is a delightful guy to talk to. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out. But we got 3 more MEAC teams also in 3 other schools to mention. That'll be in next week's episode when I do a little deeper dive on what Tennessee State is going to be up to with Reggie Barlow as head coach now, A&T with Sean Gibbs, and Hampton, who didn't have a bad year. Hampton was 5-6 last year. That's been their best performance since joining the Coastal. I think what made Dawson, we're going to miss Dawson Odoms this year. Hopefully he finds another gig where we can, as a head coach, where we can talk to him a little bit. But he literally just had this deadpan way of talking that I found to be very endearing and, yes, also very hilarious. Like, he was he was literally just so proud to say, "Behold, the green and gold." I don't have as deep a voice as he does. Like, Dawson Odom sound like Barry White, like a country Barry White. And he, like his voice commanded attention. But yes, we're going to miss Dawson Odoms in the MEAC coaches calls this year. But yeah, you got Mike Vick, you got Deshaun Jackson, you got Chennis Berry, you got Larry Scott, Trey Oliver, Damon Wilson. It's a pretty good 6. pretty good 6. And looking forward to talking more about the MEAC and as well as A&T and Tennessee State and Hampton. And yes, Stutter and Noop is correct. We're going to cover those 3 schools as well. So you guys can expect that information. Yeah, Ken, he did. I mean, I wouldn't want him to, do a concert, but I mean, you could hear the vocals. But yes, WSSU Ram Nation, we have to. And I'm looking forward to seeing what Sean Gibbs does with A&T, because all respect due to Vincent Brown, he just wasn't the guy for that job. Sean Gibbs, however, I believe is. And there's another thing. FAMU could have had Sean Gibbs. I'm sorry, I just had to throw that out there. But yes. So ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for the debut edition of the MEAC and More with Chris Stevens. I greatly appreciate y'all for joining me. Hopefully your lunch was proudly spent with me. I got to figure out what the heck I'm going to eat for lunch because I have not eaten today at all. So once I get off this call, I'm about to go, find something to get into in my own kitchen, or I might just go out and order something. I ain't decided yet. But yes. Well, y'all was in the MEAC at one point in time, but apparently there might be some teams joining on y'all in the CIAA. I'm kidding. I mean, we don't know that yet. But thank y'all for watching. So before I get out of here, I want to address one thing that Stutter and Noop brought to my attention early on in this podcast. Yes. As you can see, going across the screen, I am the Representative Jasmine Crockett fan club president. Respectfully, of course. But yes, thank y'all for watching and listening to MEAC and More with Chris Stevens debut episode. Greatly appreciate y'all's time. Oh yes, Ken Rashad is going to kick my butt if I don't tell y'all that I am a published creative writer. I have 12 books. I'm working on my 13th. So let me put that link in the chat. For those of you who like to read stories about Black people, I have several of those. Some of them are romance. So you fellas with wives, be sure to let them read the books. Let me get the right link. See, Ken, you totally threw me off my game here. But yes, I'm a published author and I'm working on my 13th book. Hopefully it'll be out sometime late May, early June-ish, I would believe. So why won't, oh Jesus. See, we're live. When we do things live, this is how you have to right. So why won't the damn thing? Okay, there we go. So yes, that is the link to my Amazon author page. And you guys can, check that out at your leisure. The books, I mean, there are books that, there's romance, there's family stuff, there's coming of age stories, there's friendship bonds. You can check them all out. They're good books if I do say so myself. I mean, I'm a 4-star rated author on Amazon. So aside from HBCU sports, I do a little bit of everything. So yes. So to answer Stuttering Noob's question, Ken and Kendrick's SWAC page is going to start on Monday. Jared Hoffman will let us know when Better Than Less Than drops, and you will want to check out all of those shows. And of course, I will be back next week, with another edition of MEAC and More. And we're still going to do the roundtable too, by the way. Don't think the roundtable is retired. The roundtable is still going to be a thing. It's probably going to be more concentrated on an amalgamation of stories that we do as well as our off topic. But we decided it was just best to sort of give everybody a lane which they are familiar with and to share with you guys, to give you guys more of a direct line to those things. Like me, I'm a MEAC guy, so the MEAC is me. Ken and Kendrick are the SWAC experts, and Jared Hoffman is a D2 NAIA genius, so that's his lane. So we will be doing those 3 shows, and we will be glad to let you guys all know when they drop. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and become a level 1 or level 2 member for the price of a cup of coffee every day, because a cup of coffee has become more expensive than what Sally Struthers said it was. You can get all the HBCU news and information on a sports level that's fit to print and broadcast. Don't forget to follow us on all manners of social media. We are on the Musty app. We are on Facebook. We are on Threads. We're on TikTok. We're on Instagram. And if you feel like donating, go to the donate at hbcusports.com Zelle application, or you go straight to the website, hbcusports.com/donate. And don't forget that if you subscribe to our newsletter, it might not be today. It might not be tomorrow. It might not be next week. Shucks, it might not even be this month. But if you subscribe to our newsletter, you could be in the running for free HBCU merch, HBCU sports merch. That could be a shirt. That could be a hat. Could be anything. You know, we might end up selling coffee mugs one of these days. You never know. So be sure to subscribe to our newsletter. Follow us on all manner of social media. Subscribe to this channel. Thank y'all for watching. Y'all please enjoy the rest of your week, whatever is left of it. Until the next time we speak, y'all be good or be good at it. We gone.